Good afternoon, everyone. Today is February 17th, 2022, and this is Conversations from Stritch. I'm Christopher Sant, Provost here at Lewis. Dr. Livingston is traveling today, and so I am delighted to be joined today by Dr. Kristi Kelly, Vice President for Diversity and Associate Provost for Student Engagement, Equity, and Inclusion, as my co-host today. Welcome, Kristi. Thank you to everyone for your flexibility and tenacity regarding the weather conditions today. I'm really grateful for our facilities team and to our police and so many others keeping our roads and walkways safe and our community engaged through the storm today and tomorrow. We have been off for 2 weeks, and it's been a really busy 2 weeks, so we have quite a lot of news to catch you up on. Monday of this week was Valentine's Day and Douglas Day, and we also had a meeting of our Board of Trustees for Lewis University. Our community will be receiving a full update on that board meeting soon in an email from Dr. Livingston, but I'm really pleased to announce that the board endorsed the strategic plan proposal that we have been working on as a community over the last year. Over the course of the spring, we'll be working with the community on different ways of implementing the plan, and we'll be sharing different aspects of the plan on the show. I'm really excited about the strategic plan, and again, it'll come up so often in the show, and it will come up in many of our community conversations. It's titled Students at the Center for a Better World, and is grounded in our Lassallean traditions and the history of Lewis, and will allow us to reach greater heights as an institution known for our ability to offer high-quality education to a broad range of students in all kinds of new formats, various formats, while preparing students for personal and professional lives of significance and impact. And so, co-host, Dr. Kelly, love to hear you provide some other news around our community.
Sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Sant, for having me with you today. It's an honor to be here. Veronica's Room, written by Ira Levin, will have its final performances February 17th through 20th at the Philip Lynch Theater here in Romeoville. Performances are 7:30 p.m. and the Sunday matinees are at 2:30 p.m. In addition, there is a matinee performance at 3:30 p.m. on this Saturday, February 19th. Lewis University will also host an art exhibition by artist Benjamin Calvert, running from February 7th through March 18th in the Brent and Jean Wadsworth Family Gallery. A reception and gallery talk will also take place from 7 to 9 p.m. On March 18th at the gallery. Benjamin is the third generation printmaker, and his passion for nature is reflected in his use of wood blocks to create relief prints on paper and on canvas. Dr. Wanya Reyes, our assistant professor of elementary education, has published an article called Reflection on Using Our Zoom Lens to Broaden Our View in Innovations in Early Education. This is the International Reggio Emilia Exchange. On January 28th, our very own Lee Harsey, Assistant Professor of Psychology, made a Zoom presentation to parents at Batavia High School regarding college admissions and financial aid. He was hosted by Jessica Leone, who is a counselor at Batavia and a 2020 grad of the school counseling program here at Lewis. Also, Lewis's bachelor's degree in exercise science has been accredited by the Commission on Accreditation of Allied Health Education Programs. Lewis is actually only the second exercise science program to be accredited in the state of Illinois. The 5-year accreditation recognizes the program's compliance with the nationally established accreditation standards. Our Interfaith Cooperation Committee has created an Interfaith Holidays calendar for the academic year, particularly 2021 and 2022, which is now available on the Office of Mission and Identity webpage. The calendar honors and supports the diversity of faith traditions, religious identities, and spiritual commitments within our campus community. It also serves as an educational resource of dates and brief information about a variety of celebrations, holidays, and spiritual engagements that our community members may observe during the academic year.
That's great. I'm so excited about that calendar, and I really encourage people to go and look at the calendar in that location that Kristi just mentioned. It is such an incredible wealth of information about so many holidays from different faith traditions, and I learned a ton by looking at it the first time I read through it. And I hope it can be a resource to all the members of our community in multiple ways. And I know as a community, we're also talking about in different groups about different ways it can be effective and useful for us to understand each other more and to celebrate together more. Absolutely. So I'm super excited about that. I think it's really interesting that Dr. Livingston and I have talked about how so many of our faculty have done research about the impacts of COVID in different fields and different disciplines, but this is the first example of somebody actually doing research on Zoom, about Zoom, sure. Not on Zoom, but about Zoom, and its effectiveness in teaching. So that's such a cool thing that Dr. Reyes is working on. And by the way, I'm going to go see Veronica's room tonight. Looks really cool and a little scary in a good way. So I hope other people have seen it. This is the second weekend of the run, starting tonight and last weekend. So check it out this weekend if you haven't seen it yet and can get to here tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday or Sunday. So a bit of athletics news for us. Congratulations to track and field athlete Alicia Cardillo, who has been named the GLVC Women's Indoor Field Athlete of the Week for the week ending February 12th. She won the triple jump at North Central's Pat Heenan Invite last Saturday, improving her provisional mark with a leap of 12.15 meters. That's almost 40 feet. It's hard to imagine, which is currently the top mark in the GLVC. She also placed second in the long jump competition at the same meet, and I believe it's the third time she's won that Athlete of the Week honor, which is quite an accomplishment. We have another really busy weekend of athletic contests coming up. Men's and women's basketball teams play tonight at Drury at 5:30 and 7:30 respectively. Women at 5:30, men at 7:30. The women's team has won 5 in a row and is coming off an upset victory against Missouri St. Louis last weekend. Both teams will also play Southwest Baptist on Saturday. Our men's volleyball team, currently ranked 9th in the country, is coming off a 3-1 victory over Ohio State last weekend, is on the road against Lindenwood tonight and Quincy on Saturday. Men's and women's track compete tomorrow at the Lee Slick Invitational in Naperville. Men's and women's swimming will be competing over the weekend at the University of Chicago's Last Chance Invite. Men's and women's tennis hosts Michigan Tech tomorrow in Plainfield and also competes at the University of Chicago on Saturday. Women's bowling is competing at the Midwinter Classic in State University, Arkansas. And finally, our baseball team kicks off its season with a series this weekend in Nashville against Trevecca Nazarene. This is the time of year when the winter sports are concluding and the spring sports are beginning. So there's so much going on and with our athletes right now, and it's super exciting. And so, as we always say, please visit the athletics website to find out information about viewing these virtually. Even though I just rattled off a lot of different athletic contests, most of them are off campus this weekend. Not a lot of things being hosted on our campus. So please follow your team via the website and watch them on live broadcasts from wherever you are. A couple of COVID-19 updates. The number of COVID-19 positive cases continues to decrease, which is a very encouraging sign. We must remember, as we have said so often, to stay the course that has helped us to get to this point, remaining vigilant to continue practices that combat the pandemic. Our hotline team and leadership team are aware of the governor's recent announcement regarding the loosening of the face covering requirements across the state. We're in dialogue with state officials and local health authorities and other universities in our region, and we will make announcements soon about our approach to how we will follow the face covering policies going forward, or set the face covering policies for our institution going forward. And then I'd like to share a little bit of an update on some of the numbers. So I think we have a PowerPoint slide here. Our COVID-19 evaluation metrics for this week. Tuesday was the latest data from Will County, where there were 150 cases per 100,000 cases. That is a lot lower than it was a few weeks ago, where it was over 1,500, but still in the red zone for the positivity rate in the community is 4.11. Just to clarify that, the orange zone, which they call moderate transmission of COVID, is under 100 and bigger than 50. So we're really hoping we continue to drop down into that range. Positive cases connected to the Lewis community. We had 8 last week, 4 so far this week. Again, very, very small numbers compared to where we were at a few weeks ago. Our county vaccination rate is 66%, 53% boosted, and our Lewis student population for enrolled this semester and attending classes on campus is 91%. Just a few reminders. Vaccinations are required. The booster is required for those who are eligible by March 14th. We call, if people are probably used to me saying this or writing this, but the expression that we are trying to use most often is that you need to be up to date with your booster by March 15th, which means if you're eligible for the booster, if you've, depending on which vaccine sequence you had when you got vaccinated, you need to have that booster by March 14th. If you're not eligible, then you are still considered up to date. And our hotline team can answer questions about that if anyone is confused about how to determine if you're up to date. As always, unvaccinated individuals need to submit testing results before Thursday at 6 p.m. to avoid fines and registration holds. We continue to do weekly testing in Memorial Hall Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And again, takes almost no time. It's not crowded anymore to go in there and get tested, and everyone is welcome in our staff and employee and faculty community, as well as student communities, to get tested for any reason at Memorial Hall during those times. And then, as always, use the app to report a positive test, symptoms, or upload vaccinations or booster information. I know we will be doing some more booster clinics as we get closer. I think there is one. Somebody might text me about this. I think it's on March 11th, but I don't have that in front of me. But we'll do one more booster clinic before that March 14th deadline for people being up to date. And so now we're going to shift gears a little bit and focus on the real focus of today, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Kelly to lead us off.
Thank you, Dr. Sant. We are really excited and pleased now to be joined by Saboora Redmond, who serves as the Black Student Union president, amongst a few things that she does on campus. Saboora is a special education major, and she's in her junior year. And I've actually had the pleasure of working with her as a first-year student, so I can't believe how quickly time is going by. So we are happy to have Saboora with us, and in just a second, of course, she'll introduce herself and talk a little bit. But before doing so, I wanted to share one of our signature programs that happens every year, and I think we have a PowerPoint slide for this, for Fulfilling the Dream. Fulfilling the Dream is an annual conference for high school students who are of African descent, African American or Black high school students. And this is the 17th year in which the program or the conference will be offered. It takes place this year, this Saturday, so there's a lot going on Saturday between some of the athletic programs and things of that nature, from 8:30 to 12:30, and we'll be over primarily in the academic building. But ultimately, the program is geared towards introducing high school students to the admissions process, the financial aid process, and we're offering sessions that will allow them to talk about their mental well-being, the transition from high school to college, and even their relationship as a student of color with the police department. And so this effort is really a collaborative effort between many faculty members across campus and staff members across campus, where we have students who will be volunteering, including Saboora, and faculty who are volunteering. So here again, we'll be joined by Saboora, who'll share some really good information about our Black Student Union and what she anticipates as the president or one of the leaders of the organization.
So I just want to say welcome, since you're here with us. So welcome, Saboora. We can maybe talk a little bit about fulfilling the dream before switching gears, but so you're here and you're working on it on Saturday, so it's great to be with you, and welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
To the chair here. Maybe either one of you, for people who are watching, who are some of the people who would come on Saturday to fulfilling the dream? Like, why would you be motivated to come, and how would it, how are they thinking about it in terms of how it's helping them?
So I think it's basically geared towards high school students. So basically it's a time where they can ask questions about, just entering college, a time to get acclimated on like just the environment that they're going to be walking into freshman year. And it's a time to really just ask questions, the questions that you don't know and the questions that everybody is asking about classes, the events on campus, and just things of that nature. So it's really just a place for them to get acclimated with school and, higher education at that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not, I guess I just want to be clear, to repeat this, that it's not necessarily going to Lewis. It's really about learning about college life, how to deal with some of the details of college that are sometimes intimidating to people, and just getting that kind of first immersion into what it's like to be, what are some of the things that people think about when they're going to college. So it's really a resource for our community. You could be going anywhere, and it could be useful.
That's absolutely the case. And in fact, and shame on us for saying this, but we don't sell Lewis. Well, we hope that, students who participate will end up at Lewis, but it's truly about the exposure to higher education. And there's such a diverse group of students who are, even though they may all identify at some way, form, or fashion as Black or African American, there's such a diverse group there's such diversity within the diverse group, if that makes sense. And and when we say high school students, they are freshmen through seniors. Some may already have in mind what school they'd like to attend, and some this will be the first time they've ever stepped on a college campus. And so absolutely, it doesn't matter really honestly where they intend to go. It's really exposure to resources, and we try to teach them to ask questions, whether it's at Lewis or the next institution that they'll be visiting. And the difference between what has happened in the past 17 years of the offering is that parents and or legal guardians or support systems will also be present at the event this year.
That's wonderful. It's so exciting that we're doing this, and it's such a great tradition at Lewis. 17 years is a lot of years to keep something like this going, and we might come back to this later, but it's something that is such a great foundation in the lives of so many people. And I'd just like to thank everybody, both of you, of course, but everybody who's working so hard on Saturday to make the members of our community feel welcome and included. for that day while they're here and learning really, really important things that we hope will improve people's lives. So it is jam-packed, it's full. But if there's anybody watching live or in the next 24 hours, I think they can contact Dr. Kelly
Yes.
directly if you have a little brother or sister or family member who might want to attend, or a child that might want to attend and you're watching this. Please feel free to contact Dr. Kelly.
Can't reiterate that enough. We don't want to turn anybody away, and we want to invite anyone who is truly interested in attending and learning at least one nugget to be in touch with me, and I'll make accommodations for them to be included.
Great. So, Saboora, can you tell us
Yes.
about the Black Student Union?
So, Black Student Union, we're really about unity, and not just within the Black community. We're focused on unity with all diverse groups of people here at Lewis or outside of Lewis. We really are trying to create our goal is to create a safe space for anybody to voice their opinion, and then also to create a safe space for us to educate, for us to just learn from each other. It's really just a chill organization that we want to have fun, but we also want to educate as well. That's our main goal. I always, I just want us to be able to learn from each other. That's the way I was taught how to grow. You learn from each other, and that's how you grow as a person and you mature as an adult. So that's mainly what we do is, create a safe space to educate one another as students here at Lewis.
Excellent. I love that. That's one of the things we talk about so often on this show and everywhere else, is just one of the great characteristics of Lewis is conversation and dialogue, and when in doubt, talk to each other and reach out and try to hear what other people have to say. And that's great that's the first thing you mentioned about that.
Well, Dr. Sent, if I could ask Saboora, so if I'm a student who, whether I identify as Black or African American, and I want to join, or if I'm not ready to join but I want to get involved, when do you guys meet, and where would I go, or who would I contact?
So you can contact me or one of my e-board members through our email, so bsu@lewisu.edu. Or we have a lot of social media platforms, so we have Instagram and Snapchat, so I know everybody in this day of age has access to a phone, so you can always see what we're up to on Snapchat or Instagram. Then also we meet on Thursdays at 5:30 in the AS building. It's 156, but with all the classes going on, sometimes it's changed, but it's usually in AS, the AS Arts and Science building. So we just meet in the classroom. One day it may be a movie night, another day it may be a Jeopardy game. We're us trying to get educated on just the Black experience, Black culture, anything of that realm. We do a lot of community service. So this year we're working on doing a program with Feed My Starving Children, and we're also trying to probably partnership with some other organizations, because it's not, once again, like I said, it's always about unity. I want to reach out to other organizations and become, just become that family that I envisioned for VSU. Great. So so we have a lot planned for this semester and for years to come as well. So yes.
That's awesome. I just want to remind everyone that on the screen is the email address to send in questions for any of the three of us. Ask us at lewisu.edu, so please feel free. I did receive some questions about COVID, and I'll answer those at the end. But please, if there's anything about Saturday or about the Black Student Union or anything else we're talking about now, please write in and we'll filter those through. So. Goals that you have. So, I want to give you permission to be honest. Like when you're the president of an organization, you usually come in with some plans to make small changes at least and things. So, tell us about some of your own goals for the organization.
So, my main goal, I think, is just to get people familiar with BSU. I want it to be not something where somebody who walks up to us and like, oh, I don't want to be a part because I don't feel like I'll be accepted. I really want the membership to be diverse, even though I would love for our membership to grow between in my community and my culture. But I also want, like I said, I want to educate as well and make people feel like they matter and they're going to be loved even if they aren't, Black or African American or of African descent. So that was one of my goals, is just to grow the diversity membership, and then also just to push Black Student Union as a priority for Lewis University. I know it's a lot of organizations. It's about 50. I don't even know how many organizations are on campus, but just the push for, making Black Student Union a major priority, because, we have African American students on campus. So I just want to make sure that they're seen and that they're heard and that they feel welcomed here at Lewis. So that's always been my primary goal. I know Lewis, that's also Lewis's goal as well, but sometimes you just need a community to push a goal. So
yeah,
that's
I just like to say I completely agree that that's a shared goal, but it's always great to get feedback. It's always great to get really specific. We all agree on that goal, but hey, here's an idea about how to make that work. So please keep communicating those ideas, because they're so helpful.
They do.
I know. I said keep.
Yes.
That's great. Do you have any questions?
I don't.
I have lots more.
I know you do.
Okay, so about community. So you talked about reaching out, doing things in the community. It seems like such a great combination of doing fun things together as a group and growing the Lewis community, but also doing service and reaching out. I'm just wondering how. We'll talk a little bit more about the types of external work that you do as an organization, or if someone's watching and they work for a nonprofit or they're interested in connecting, how would they go about that? Or
so like I said, you guys can most definitely email us at BSU at lewisu.edu. I'm always in there, maybe about too many times a day. I'm in the email like, who's emailing us now? So you can always reach out. You can also reach out to our advisor over OMSS. You can if you want to just reach out to all the multicultural services, you can reach out to James through the OMSS program. But mainly, if you would just want to contact BSU, Black Student Union itself, then you can email us at bsu@lewisu.edu. So yes, I love community service. I love giving back. I feel like when you're put in a position, you're obligated to do it. You have to give back, and I love giving back to my people and to other people who are in need for it. So I think that's why I'm putting a focus on doing the Feed My Starving Children's community service, and then also many other things that I've done through high school. So like the Ronald McDonald House, where they actually they taught us how to cook, but we cooked for the children that lived in the Ronald McDonald House. So that was really nice. So just giving back, and also fundraising as well. But strictly community service is really what I push for.
Wonderful. And I guess in general, we're probably looking for partners who are aligned with our mission in terms of what the way Saboora described the Black Student Union's overall goals. So it's always great to have new community partners. So if anyone's interested, let her know.
Reach out, please.
Yeah.
Please reach out.
So I'd like to know a little bit about you, or tell us where you're from and how you found out about Lewis.
Okay, so I'm from Chicago, Illinois, like by the east side, so closer to the lake. So I am not a first-year generation student. My mom went to college. Of course, I had to follow in her footsteps. And I just thought Lewis was the place for me to grow and just learn myself. There were a lot of schools that I was interested in going to, HBCUs, public schools and things of that nature, but I really thought that Lewis was invested in me in a way. So I was like, that's just God telling me I need to be there. So I just came to Lewis and I loved it. It was just a place that I knew that I would be able to excel, learn myself. Like I really got in tune with myself and what I need to do and my goals and just aspirations that I want. So Lewis has really helped me with that. So I think I didn't say, I'm a junior.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm the president of BSU. And then I also work with the University Advancement Office along with Marcus and Danessa. We work to make sure that students have the funds. So I help give back. I work alongside with alumni for the alumni that want to give back and that support the students that are coming in through Lewis. So I know I enjoy because once again, I love giving back. So I think that's where my passion was, to give back to the school, even though I'm not gone yet. But still, just giving back is my main, purpose in life. So yeah, so that's me. I think that was all.
Have you been able to meet some alumni through that
Yes,
job?
yes.
Has
So
that been interesting?
BSU, we have a scholarship. It's the Michael Parker. Michael Parker is the one who funds the scholarship for BSU. So I had the honor to meet him through the President's Circle that I attended a few months ago. So that was really an experience. I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I didn't work in the office. So I'm grateful that I was able to meet a lot of alumni who actually really care about Lewis students and giving back. So I've had the opportunity to meet him along many other people that I can't. It's a long list, but I've met a lot, and just letting them know that the reason why I came to Lewis and the reason why I stay passionate about BSU and just the students at Lewis. So I've been able to meet a lot of alumni as well.
Wonderful.
That's wonderful. And so now we have to thank Michael Parker, because he might be watching, for his incredible generosity and support. And one other thing, educating us, and Kristi's very understanding of what I'm saying. We both are so grateful for his education of us around the really, really long tradition of impact that African American students have made at Lewis, and so many, such a rich tradition full of, community of all different types over so many years. And you're really the current pinnacle of that long tradition, and that's a great reminder that we have so many decades of just real strength in this with this population making such a huge impact, and we hope for many, many decades to come. I think I might be out finally. Oh, you didn't tell us what your major was, I don't think. I might have missed that.
I'm a special educations major. So once again, my
okay.
purpose, giving back. So I love working with people. I love working with children. I feel like if I am a part of their beginning stages of growing up, that I will be able to shape them in a way. So, well, not me personally, but and be able to contribute to the shaping of the generations coming up. So that was my passion. So I had to go.
You're a junior. I don't remember how exactly it works. Have you been in a school? Have you done a placement?
So I have not done that yet. I actually started off as a nursing major.
Oh, okay.
So I transferred over to being
catching up. With the
so I'm
special.
like a little bit of a semester behind, but I should be starting that next semester, the fall semester that's coming up. So I'll be in the schools, but I've been in schools kind of all my life. We've been in school since 5. So, and then my mom is also a teacher. So, and I have a lot of teachers in my family, actually, subs, principals, teachers. It's a lot of people that work with specifically in CPS, but I've also tutored in high school. I've done little tutoring programs, and so little customers, community service things. So yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for those students in the future you're gonna interact with. Anything else, Dr. Kelly, before we switch gears back to wrapping up?
No, selfishly, I know a lot about Saboora, so all that she's expressed, is wonderful that she's sharing it with her peers and of course now the community at large through this conversation. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your collaboration, and we'll continue to work together in all the capacities in which you serve on the campus. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us here today. And so just a few more things. We did get a couple of questions regarding COVID, and I did get someone to help me out about that date. So the booster clinic is March 3rd in the flight deck, and the information about that will be in my weekly email that comes out this afternoon. And then there was a question about not doing the booster requirement that came through, and we're still sort of working through what the outcomes would be for not complying with the booster requirement. There are some state mandated outcomes. So one thing that's already in place that is impacting people is that if you are not up to date with your booster, you have to quarantine with an exposure. And if you are up to date, you don't have to quarantine. So that has a big impact on people's lives. And then we're expecting some more guidance from the health agencies around other outcomes, but we are provisionally planning on it essentially having similar outcomes as people who are not currently vaccinated. So potentially weekly testing and other things that we currently apply to unvaccinated, other strictures that we apply to unvaccinated members of our community. So, but more information about that later. So we will, next week, we have a really exciting show. Dr. Livingston will be back, and we are going to be focused on our our Rome program. And we mentioned a few weeks ago that our students, about 14 students and some faculty, have gone to Rome and are there spending the semester taking classes and traveling and learning about that region. So next week we're going to do a remote broadcast with the students and faculty in Rome, with us here obviously, and so that will be really cool, and we're looking forward to that working, and very grateful to all the technical people who've made that possible. And then as we close, I just wanted to say thank you. This is the first episode, and I don't know exactly how many we've done. It's been over 50, I believe, without Professor Kilpatrick. And he's couldn't make it today to be our producer behind the scenes. And so I'd really, really like to thank Joe Glatz for stepping in his place, and for a great student team, Patrick Hennessy, Logan Cap, Cody Lindeman, and Cameron, whose last name I didn't have written down. I apologize to Cameron, and for really stepping up and doing a great job. And now I hope Professor Kilpatrick comes back, because he sees that it can happen without him. And so we're really looking forward to next week, and everyone have a blessed day, and thank you so much, and drive safe going home today. Bye-bye.